The check is not in the mail. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. President Trump announcing late Monday he's continuing a freeze on U.S. contributions to the World Health Organization for another month and could make the freeze permanent.
In a letter to the leader of the WHO, the president reminded him that back on April 14th, he suspended U.S. contributions to the World Health Organization pending an investigation by the administration over the organization's failed response to the COVID-19 outbreak. He says that review has concluded that lacking further improvements and more transparency, the funds will continue to be frozen.
Fox's Kevin Corke, the president has charged the WHO yielded to pressure from China not to sound the alarm about the coronavirus sooner. The president also revealing Monday he is taking hydroxychloroquine as a defense against the virus.
What do you have to lose? Okay, what do you have to lose? So I have been taking it for about a week and a half.
Every day?
At some point, every day. I take a pill every day. At some point, I'll stop. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have the cure and or the vaccine, and that'll happen, I think, very soon.
The White House physician saying in a letter he prescribed it after weighing the potential benefits against the relative risks. Promising news about a possible vaccine.
Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar on Fox News touting the prospects of a possible vaccine for the coronavirus.
Some very promising data showing the vaccine provokes what are called neutralizing antibodies that attack the virus. And so just really important advance.
Drug maker Moderna said its experimental coronavirus vaccine induced immune responses in some of the healthy volunteers who were vaccinated in a clinical study, and the shots were generally safe and well tolerated.
But Fox's John Decker reports those results are only preliminary. America is listening to Fox News.
At long last, NASCAR has finally returned. And now, the countdown to the Coca-Cola 600 has begun.
4 minutes, 3.
Turn! Start! Your engine! The Coca-Cola 600, live from Charlotte, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Fox.
This is the moment when America comes together.
And Fox News Channel is with you every step of the way.
There are so many uplifting stories, people helping each other.
America's best shine brightest when needed the most.
The spirit of generosity has been enormous.
We took an oath to be here for the public, so we're not going anywhere.
We are resilient. Thanks to her citizens, the America we know will come out of this stronger than ever before.
America Together, on air and online, only Fox News Channel.
Since 1946, Murphy's Builder Supply has been serving the folks of Jessup, Wayne, and surrounding counties with quality products and knowledgeable service. Matter of fact, they feel they sell service first to make sure you get exactly what you need for your home improvement projects. And with each employee at Murphy's being there for 10 years or more, you know you're talking with someone with the experience to help you with building supplies, tools, paint, and all the things you need from a full-service hardware store. The best choice in home improvement is Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
At 7:59, world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. It's Tuesdays with Tillery. We've got State Senator Blake Tillery on the phone. Blake, how you doing today?
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Doing great. Still trying to find out the official date on when the legislative session is going to take place. The House Speaker and the Lieutenant Governor both have different dates, so nothing's been finalized. So what's the final date?
My guess would be June 15th, but I'm not either one of those two that you mentioned. So.
Yeah. Well, why do you think they have different dates? What's the thought everybody was on the same page, so they're going back June 11th.
I'm not sure that it really it sounds like it's a little bit semantical in that I think they both are sort of agreeing that the first day of session would probably be the 15th, but perhaps we'd have some committee meetings that began on the 11th. Remember, today would have been Election Day, the primary election for both, for all political parties, and then, this would roll in that folks who won today would be on the ballot in November, but with the COVID-19 push of the election to June the 9th, now that obviously will occur then. So rolling from an election on Tuesday to straight session on Thursday, I guess maybe seemed a little fast, so the thought was maybe some committees then that roll into a first day of session perhaps on the 15th.
got any idea when they're going to finalize that, make it final? I mean, it's been hanging out there in limbo for, we're getting almost to June.
Yeah, good question, Bob. I'm not exactly sure. I can tell you, though, that that's what, from a budget committee standpoint, that's what we're working towards, and we're actually going to start holding hearings well before that. I think the first one is May 22nd will be the subcommittee on public safety on the Senate side, and we've already held 3 virtual appropriations meetings that the public's welcome to watch. You can view those from a variety of sources. The easiest, though, even though I'm in the Senate, I'll admit it, the easiest way to view it is to go to the House's website. Their media website is a little bit more user-friendly, and you can view the joint committee meetings that we held one yesterday, actually, at 3 p.m. yesterday with surrounding state folks that helped us understand sort of what we're seeing from a big picture and what federal monies have headed Georgia's way. And the other 2 were with our local economist and also with our OPB director to help folks get a sense of what was going on. We actually had 1,000 people log on and view that one that happened, again, the past few weeks.
Or this COVID-19 situation, I'm just curious, everybody's talking about safety guidelines when they do return. What about the legislative session? Are you getting talking points on how it's going to work? Social distancing going to take place? How's it going to work when everybody gets back to the session?
Yeah, we're getting memos from that. They're coming out on the Senate side out of the Senate Pro Tem's office, which is his name is Butch Miller. He's from Gainesville, and he's the one who's kind of tasking that up with the Lieutenant Governor. And it looks like it's going to be very different. Again, my head's sort of under a rock here with the budget, so I'm reading their memos, but I'm not weighing into any of those. They can figure out how we're going to be safe. I got to make sure these numbers balance at the end. But it looks like it's going to be very different. Looking at folks mainly staying back in their offices, viewing the session online like I know a lot of people in Jessup do already. I get text messages while we're on the floor of asking about different bills or what they've seen or commenting on what different people have said. So it looks like we will be back in our offices most of the time and then have an extended voting period. Usually voting in the Senate is exactly 1 minute. They ring the bell every 15 seconds, and at the end of that 1 minute, the votes go up on the board. It's a little bit different process over in the House. But it looks like now we'll do that for a longer extended period. You'll enter through one door, exit through another. Abide by the same guidelines that you've seen placed on businesses and requested of all those folks who are reopening their restaurants, their stores, their theaters, etc.
Again, just joining us, State Senator Blake Tillery on the phone with us, Tuesdays with Tillery. As you mentioned, the budget is going to be the big thing. You're going to be a big part of that. How difficult a process do you think this is going to be?
Well, I mean, difficult. Numbers are the numbers. That's one reason why I sort of like them. You can't. It's kind of hard to fib them, and they are what they are. It doesn't matter what games we play. 2 plus 2 is going to equal 4. The hard part is, will it affect lives? Yes, it definitely will. But to do nothing will affect lives as well. I have committed that we're not coming back to ask the taxpayers of Georgia for more income tax or revenue out of their pocket. That means we have to work within the means we've got. Some federal funds have come down. They have some strings attached that make it such that they aren't useful for helping us. They're somewhat useful. They're not extremely useful in helping us balance out the current situation. As you know, April revenues were down $1 billion. That's $1 billion with a B, or roughly 4% drop of total revenue in 1 month. It was off 36% from April over last year. So if you take that $1 billion out, if you take, just for instance, we have roughly 40 agencies, 50 agencies in Georgia, everything from education to community health to the Board of Regents, transportation, et cetera. On and on and on. If you take the top 11 of those, those total up about 90% of the total budget. And that's going to be your education, your health, Board of Regents, et cetera, things that you know and think of. If we take those bottom 38, that's going to be your DNR, your driver services, Veterans Affairs, et cetera, everything that people expect government to do that touch people's lives daily, DFACs, those together only make up $2 billion, and we dropped $1 billion in 1 month. So you see that even if we were to take and wipe out 38 state agencies, it still would not make up the monies that we need unless we're willing to touch those Big Ten, and those Big Ten are going to be education, USG system, technical college system, transportation, behavioral health, etc. There's just not enough money otherwise. So that's hard. It's hard because it affects people's lives. It affects their mortgage. It affects their kids in going to college. So when you ask what's hard, it's not hard to make it balance. It's hard because of the people that are behind those numbers.
And we've seen and read two different figures. We've heard 14% cut, 15% cut. We've heard across the board, not across the board. Tell us what's true, what's not true.
Yeah. Well, that memo had my name on it, so I guess I could talk about it. The memo that came from me as chairman of Senate Appropriations, Terry England from Auburn, Georgia, as chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, and then Kelly Farr, the OPV director, Office of Planning and Budget for the governor, told all agencies and the judicial branch, which technically is not an agency, to prepare for 14% reductions in their budget. What that means is each agency should report back and say, if you were levied a 14% reduction, how would you make it happen? Remember, the legislature doesn't go into every line and say, pay Sam X and pay Susie Y. They allocate monies to agencies who then carry out the task from the executive. We told them to prepare for a 14% reduction. Their plans on how they would implement that are due back tomorrow, the 20th of May. We've had some of them come in already. There's at least one that we've sent back and said, hey, you've got to follow the guidelines here. One, either be at 14% and you weren't, or there's state personnel board rules, et cetera, that you've got to abide by. And once those submissions come back in, once those agencies tell us this is how we would apply the 14%, then the legislature gets to either accept that or to offer the 14% in a different way. Now, our goal, obviously, is we wanted to roll out what we thought at the time, and remember, this was the end of April. Beginning of April, end of March. What we thought would have been a worst-case scenario of 15%. Yeah, I take that back. I think it was the end of April. 14%, not 15%. And we based that off of what we were seeing in the markets, what we were seeing from tax revenue, and also what we were seeing from written resources from folks who predict markets. So, like Moody's. Moody's did an indicator of where state revenues would be based on mild recessions, based on moderate recessions, based on severe recessions. And we grabbed a number. They said if Georgia was in a severe recession, it would be 15% reduction of revenues. If it was in a moderate recession, it would be roughly 12. So we grabbed a number close to the 15. We grabbed 14, averaging all those things out. And that's why we rolled that number out to the agencies. Now, I told you this last week. I'll tell you again. Moody's, when it did that number of severe recession for Georgia, it used an unemployment figure of 18%. We are now today close to 30. And that is, no one predicted that at all. Don't know how long that will be sustained, but that could definitely affect the overall revenue picture. Our goal, I'll tell you some things we're seeing, though, that are positive. One is it looks like people are going back to work. We're starting to see traffic counts, DOT traffic counts rise again. I know my office reopened on Monday. We were open the whole time, but we were open with a skeletal crew would be one way of putting it. We've now opened to a 50% basis where half the people are in one day and half are in the next. And I know other people are reopening and getting going with social distancing, et cetera. And starting to see a pickup on traffic. I tell you, the folks who seem to be doing great are the home warehouse stores. I'm sure Harris Ace Hardware and Lowe's over in Hinesville, et cetera. Those folks seem to be killing it.
Well, again, as you mentioned, your name's on that memo. What's been the reaction, when you tell people 15% cuts across the board? I mean, have you heard any feedback at all?
Well, again, the 14 and at across the board is how the agency applies it. We apply it across the board at the agency level, and how they apply it within the agency is sort of what we're waiting to see how they do that tomorrow before we decide in the legislative session whether we accept it. It's been, I'd say, mixed. A lot of people, I think, expected it. They see what happened with their own pocketbooks, what happened at their businesses when things shuttered. So I think it was somewhat expected. You do have a few that, I mean, they've emailed me or called me, and I'll talk them through the numbers. And when you tell folks, listen, we've got a $25 billion budget, and $25 billion and $10.6 billion of that goes to K-12 education, that's why education will have to be affected, then you hear people start going, okay, I get it a little more. Or, again, I've said it many times on here, if you take K-12, USG, and TCSG systems and put them together, that's 54% of your budget. The same way that you can't balance your own checkbook if you've got a deficit without affecting 54% of your budget is the same way that the state can't. We were able to leave education immune for the past cycle, and then when the governor's reductions came in last year and this year, but it going forward, it's just too big of a piece of the pie, particularly when you consider if you put health care in with that, now that's an additional 23%. So again, total education and total health care together are 77% of your state budget. That's really where we spend your state funds.
As you mentioned a while ago, things are starting to open back up. The governor was the first of any of the governors across the country to begin opening things up. He took a lot of criticism for that, but so far it seems to be a pretty good decision at this point.
Again, I'm watching kind of like you are. I don't have any the memos that are flying right now. The big things I'm handling is just the budget, and then I can tell you this, just anecdotally, the calls we get from constituents daily are beginning to become less COVID-related and much more everyday life-related. Questions about things with the Department of Insurance, or questions about things with DFACs, etc. So, that's a little bit of an anecdotal evidence that things are somewhat returning back to normal. Much less questions about what executive orders look like, and more questions about why my tax return hadn't come yet.
I was going to ask you about that. Are you getting have most businesses gotten their loans and things like that? Are you hearing from many of the constituents about that?
Hearing a lot of questions about unemployment, and seeing that affect personally with my family even. And the questions there when my parents are saying, so I got paid this week, but I didn't get paid this week, what happened? And trying to answer those for anyone who calls. Feel free. Again, the best way to probably get that question answered the fastest would be calling Kathleen, my assistant in Atlanta, at 404-656-0089, or sending me an email, blake.tillery@senate.ga.gov, and we're able to run that up pretty quickly. But even the non-unemployment questions or the non-COVID questions are becoming a whole lot more routine, which, questions about anything from DOT right-of-ways to, again, several in Department of Insurance after the issues we had over in Odom about a month ago. So,
well, the weather continues to be nice. We got Memorial Day weekend, so it looks like there's going to be a lot of activity across the state of Georgia. So we'll see how all that plays out. But like I said, people are just itching to get outside and do some type of activity, and you see it more and more across the state of Georgia. The governor still has some difficult decisions. Like I said, he's got everything shut down for the elderly until June the 12th, and I say still can't go visit hospitals. There's still a lot of restrictions. So hopefully the numbers will continue to go in the right direction, and we'll see more and more things open up as we go along.
I'm with you. I hope the same. And again, thank you to our healthcare workers who are on the front lines battling this. And again, Joe Arati and the crew at Wayne Memorial have done a great job. Appreciate the ideas that they have provided that we've been able to share with others.
Well, again, always good talking to you, Blake. Again, stay safe. When you get a final date, confirmation date, is it the 12th or the 15th? Let us know.
If I was betting, I'd bet on June 15th again, because you said it as well, that for the elderly sheltering in place till June 12th. Remember that a lot of the legislature falls under that. So I think June 15th is going to be your day.
Okay. Well, we'll circle that date. Look forward to it. Well, they have 11 days left in the session. Is that correct?
There are. We don't have to meet for all 11, though. So that's the max. So I'm not sure what I have about 14 bills circled that would affect the budget significantly. That we're just kind of keeping an eye on and watching. But I don't know if we're going to get to all 11 days or not.
Well, we wish you the best. Like I said, you got a big task ahead of you to get that budget approved. That's the main thing. We ask the question all the time: do you see anything other than the budget, or any other pressing issue that we need to be aware of? What's going to be on the legislators' mind? Something they want to see pushed through this session besides the budget?
I'm sure there are, but again, my head's been underneath that rock of the budget. And a huge shout out to Representative Bill Wertheiser and Stephen Meeks, Representative Meeks, who've carried the load to help with so many other things right now, and really appreciate them. It's a team effort, and they're great team members. Okay.
Again, stay safe, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Thanks.
Yep, have a good morning. Bye.
Okay. Again, those comments, State Senator Blake Tillery, Tuesdays with Tillery here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Dear Mom and Dad, well, the Army has finally seen fit to give me some time off, so I'm writing to tell you that I'm doing fine over here. And Mom, since you asked, if anyone wants to help, just tell them to contact the USO. You can't believe how much they do for us. With love, your son Michael.
The USO depends on the generosity of the American people. To find out how you can help, visit us at USO.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
The great American outdoors are right outside your back door. Get a great deal on a great tool when you save $20 on the tough and dependable Stihl MS-170 chainsaw. Shop online, pick up at any of over 9,000 local Stihl dealers. Find yours at STIHLdealers.com. Offer valid for a limited time at participating dealers while supplies last. See dealer for details and consult state local guidelines for availability of promotional products and pricing in your area.
Sheffield's Trophies and Sports Shop is now under new ownership as Becky and Pat have decided to enjoy retirement. So it's now Sheffield's by Scott Horrell and Fatback Tees and Sean Mullis, the new owners. Need custom screen printing, signs, or banners? Need sports equipment or apparel? Sheffield's new owner Scott Horrell and Sean Mullis now offer custom screen printing, signs, and banners in addition to the services already provided. For all your sports needs, trophies, engraving, embroidery, custom screen printing, banners, and more, call Sheffield's at 912-427-2982 or 912-530-8384. Or visit Sheffield's by Fatback Tees and Mullis at 1560 West Orange Street, Monday through Saturday. If you can think it, they can get it. Again, Sheffield's now Sheffield's by Scott Horrell and Fatback Tees and Sean Mullis. For all your sporting good needs, stop by and see them today.
Mostly cloudy early. There's a 40% chance of showers. Later becoming mostly sunny. Southwest breeze, highs mid-80s. Partly cloudy tonight, slight chance of evening showers. Then late night, 30% chance of showers overnight, mid-60s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 80. Thursday, partly sunny, chance of showers and thunderstorms, highs low 80s.
Georgia meteorologist John Weatherby in the GNN Weather Center.
WIFO-FM, Big Dog Country at 8:19. Anything else, Bob? I see you've got something.
Yeah, I just want to get this out for all the parents and grandparents of seniors. Again, the Wayne County High School virtual scholarship award ceremony is going to be shared on Thursday, May 21st of this week at 7 p.m. To view the virtual ceremony on Thursday, please go to the Wayne County High School website. Click on the link on the news section named Scholarship Award Ceremony. Scholarship Award Ceremonies to recognize the outstanding accomplishments and award scholarships to deserving members of the class of 2020. We'll have high school principal Brett McDaniel as one of our guests tomorrow. Again, we've got Wednesdays with Wertheiser tomorrow, but Brett McDaniel also will be on hand. Talk about some of the events taking place for this senior class of 2020. But again, that award ceremony is going to be this Thursday, 7 p.m. So again, to view the virtual ceremony, go to the Wayne County High School website, click on the link on the news section named Scholarship Award Ceremony, and you'll be able to view it. So, again, but we'll have the high school principal here with all the details tomorrow about the ceremony.
Well, that's one good thing, one, golden nugget in all of this, that the technology has become so prevalent and so easy to use that you're able to do this. Could you imagine even 10 years ago, if we had this kind of situation, you'd have been in the dark about a lot of things.
I'm still in the dark on many things.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Yeah, not about technology, but just life in general. I'm in the dark about a lot of things.
Zoom and all that stuff. It just goes right over my head.
It zooms over your head. Right, yeah.
I'm still in the doghouse because my niece graduated, or was supposed to graduate.
Right.
This past weekend, they had a Zoom thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't. I said, forget all that. I'll call.
Yeah.
So I'm not into this technology stuff.
Yeah.
So some of these meetings I've been able to check in. They said the city hadn't had a problem, the county hadn't had a problem, the school board for some reason I just can't get in that website. I watch those meetings live. Can't figure it out. Comes on the link. I hit it 50 times and nothing.
Oh.
So hopefully we'll get back to live meetings soon so I can find out what's going on.
Right. And again, prayers for Tommy Palmer, who is battling cancer.
Yeah, again, let me give those Twitter and Instagram accounts. And he said he'd like to hear. I mean, he's the one that sent out the press release and said he'd
last
like to
night
hear from his listeners. So let me get that wrong folder here. Again, if you missed the sportscast, again, he's under hospice care at this time. Again, he's been battling lung cancer since 2017. Says it's in his final days under hospice care. So he'd like to hear from his listeners by Twitter, Instagram. Instagram account is at TJ Palmer Senior. That's TJ Palmer SR. The Twitter account is at Georgia High School Scoreboard. And his email is tjpalmers@gmail.com. So, again, if you'd like to send him a message, thank him for all the years of being on the show. Like I said, one of the most popular shows on Friday night. The High School Scoreboard show is well listened to. He's done a good job with that show. Always talks about Wayne County, so kind of a sad press release to get that they only give him less than 6 months.
Yeah, that's sad. All right, anything else on a Tuesday morning we need to cover, Bob?
I think that does. Like I said, we've got John Carter in on Friday. We've got, like I said, we've got Werkheiser tomorrow. We've got Brett McDaniel on Wednesday. Also, we got Dale Keith with the IDA on Thursday. They got a special announcement for the Industrial Development Authority. So he'll be in on Thursday's World Famous Butch and Bob Show. And might have the rec director, Lamar Speck-Eccles, on Thursday as well to update the upcoming season, June the 1st. So got a full lineup this week on the Butch and Bob Show. And tomorrow, Brett McDaniel and Bill Werkheiser. Thursday, Dale Keith, Lamar Eccles. Friday, Sheriff John Carter.
All right, that's it for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show on this Tuesday morning, brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply. Good morning for the big dog, WIFO at 8:23. Quick update from Fox News Radio coming up next.
And then along came Walker Jones.
At Walker Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.